경례. All right, we're doing our Taekwondo Realtor, John Park, doing Who's Who series. So, who is this beautiful lady next to me? So without me blah blah talking all the time, I'm gonna turn it over to Kay.
Okay, John, thank you for the opportunity. And I'm Kay Watson. I'm with Metro Brokers Elite, and we're a family. It's a great office, and I'm just thankful that I'm here and we're all together.
I am more thankful. I'm sure you know that. I'm absolutely more thankful. Because Kay, how long have you been in real estate?
This is my 40th year, and as I look back, when I got into real estate, I was a stay-at-home mom. Only did volunteer work for the PTA back then, not PTO.
That's right.
And I did Meals on Wheels. I did just a little bit of everything, volunteer in my church. And I have one daughter, and when she went to college, my husband said, "Why don't you get your real estate license and we'll do some investing?" And so I said, okay. So I did, got my license, and then kind of drug my feet a little bit in getting into the business because I'd never worked. So I didn't have a lot of self-confidence.
Oh, that's a good topic.
I really did not have any, I thought, I don't know if I can do this. And so I had a neighbor down the street who was a realtor, and I went with her company, which was Century 21.
Oh.
And my husband kept saying, "Well, when are you going to get started?" And I kept saying, "Well, I need to have a garage sale. I need to get the house done." All of those things. Just procrastinating, really.
Right, like all of us.
Because I didn't think that I could do it. I was frightened. So I was having my garage sale. That was the thing to do in September. And I got a call from my aunt in Louisiana. Now, what I had done, the one thing that I did do, I had sent out cards announcing that I'm now in the business.
Oh, that's.
And I had sent it to all of my sphere in Denver, but I also sent it to all my relatives.
Oh.
And I had an aunt and uncle in New Iberia, Louisiana, and they were at church on Sunday morning, and this was Sunday afternoon. And I got a call from my aunt, and she said, "Kay, I just talked with a friend at church this morning, and their daughter is in Denver, and they're at the Marriott, and the realtor has not shown up."
Wow, okay.
And so, can you help them? And I said, well, I guess I can. So I quickly called my neighbor and talked with her a little bit. The couple called me and said, "Can you help?" Now, the one thing that I recommend for every new realtor, be honest. Because immediately when they called me, I said, "This is my first deal. You have to understand that. So I'm going to need help, but I have people that can help me. If you're willing to work with me, I'm willing to show you property." So on Monday morning, my husband, Skip, took off work. He drove. I navigated. And the couple sat in the back, and we looked at like 4 homes. And then the next day, I was on my own. And so we didn't have cell phones back then. So I had enough dimes and quarters that I could stop at a 7-Eleven and make a call on a payphone. So this kind of dates how long it's been, John.
Wow.
But the next day I showed them probably 6 homes. And I stopped in the afternoon and I called my husband, and he said, "Kay, have you asked them if they've seen anything that they're interested in?"
Oh, yeah.
And I said, "Well, no." And he said, "Well, you need to ask." So I got back in the car and I said, have you seen anything that you're interested in?" He said, "Yes, Kay, the first house you showed us this morning."
First house, okay, great.
So I said, "Oh, okay." So I did have a contract in my car with me, And so we went back to the hotel, and I filled in the blanks.
Mm-hmm.
It was horrendous, I have to say.
Okay.
It was not correct, but they wanted to buy it, they were qualified.
Uh-huh.
And they wrote an earnest money check. I was so excited. I left the earnest money check laying in the hotel on the table, and I'll never forget, I called Pat Forber, who was a realtor, and I knew him. And I said, I had met him, let's just say I'd met him.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, Pat, this is Kay Watson. I'm new. I have someone that wants to buy your property. Can I bring you a contract? Now, this was like 8 o'clock at night.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, yeah. So I got in my car, drove over to his house. That's when we didn't have anything electronically. We delivered them to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, the deal closed.
Amazing.
But I was honest with my buyer.
Honesty, of course.
And I told them this was my first transaction.
Mm-hmm.
And if they weren't comfortable, that I would refer them to someone.
Oh, that's
The
amazing.
second one was with the realtor.
Uh-huh.
I was honest with Pat.
Right.
Because if I had tried to act like I knew what I was doing, it would have been very evident.
Right.
And that was not. So I told him, Pat, this is my first deal. I'm going to need help, but if I've got a buyer that wants to buy, and you've got a seller that wants to sell, so let's get the deal done. And we did.
That is so amazing, Kay.
So that was my first transaction.
That is amazing.
And who would have ever thought that 40 years later, I am still here doing this and loving every minute of it.
Yeah.
It's been an incredible career for me.
Mm-hmm.
I've had so many opportunities. For someone who had no confidence, to have been able to have the opportunity to serve on a local level and on a state level and a national level has just been an incredible experience.
So what does that mean? To state level, you were working as a car director?
I was president of the Colorado Association of Realtors in 2003.
Right.
I was president of the South Metro Denver Realtor Association in 1992.
Right.
And then became an NAR director. In I think it was like around 2000.
Around 2000.
And I started going to national meetings in I got in the business in 79. My first national meeting was 1985.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I just was encouraged to go, and I started going, and I've only missed 2 since then.
Oh my goodness, wow.
And you meet such wonderful people, and I can say that I have learned much more than I've been able to give. It has come back to me in just the knowledge that I've gained. And then in 2007, I had the honor of being the liaison for the National Association of Realtors to Housing and Diversity, which was an incredible experience, and met so many lovely, wonderful people who have become part of my family.
Yes, and I've noticed that at the last event we went together at the state capitol.
Yeah.
It seemed like everybody knew you, which was I was I'm not young anymore, but as a younger broker, it was very impressive. Not because it's just you're flaunting it, it's just because all these people will become like your family.
Right.
And even from out of state, realtors, representatives, you just kind of become part of their families, which is amazing.
Well, and I can remember when Pat V called me, who was going to be the president of the National Association of Realtors, and she said, Kay, I want you to be liaison to Housing and Diversity during my year as president. And I said, oh, Pat, I think you called the wrong person. I mean, I don't know that I'm qualified. She said, yes, you are. And I know that you'll give 110, 120%. And I said, well, let me think about it just, for a day. And I talked with my husband about it. And he said, this is an opportunity, Kay, that you cannot pass up. And you will do a great job. Okay. And I felt like that I learned so much from the people that had gone before. And
Yes.
then I was able, hopefully I was able to assist and help the people that came after me in that position.
That's so awesome, Kate. So, final thing for our young brokers. I know 40 years ago is different from now.
Right.
However, real estate's always been difficult,
Right.
right? But one piece of advice for our young ladies out there, they just got their license. I'm training a lot of them, as you know, younger agents, younger ladies. I know
Right.
you kind of touched on confidence, but maybe one tip you could give them, what would that be?
Okay, I think if you look at it as, and I think particularly young women, I think if you look at it as a service, you're doing a service. And if you can look at it that way and let your buyers and your sellers know, number one, be honest. I mean, that's to me the first thing. The second thing is look at it as a service, not as in other words, I always say, if you see the dollar sign when you first wake up in the morning, you're in the wrong business. Because this, to me, is a service business. And your buyers and your sellers will know that you're sincere, you're honest.
You want
and you want the best for them.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Kate.
Okay.
I love that. That was a great interview.
Okay.
Thank you so much. And thank you for the audience to listen in. And we're all hoping that all of you guys are just starting, but we want you to be just like Kay. 40 years from now, just volunteer, help with our association, realtor associations, help with the public. That'll be amazing. So we're all, both of us, wishing you guys a lot of luck. Keep learning.
Yeah, absolutely.
And have the confidence because you have what it takes.
Right.
So work hard and we'll see you later.
Well, and John, you're doing a phenomenal job in training these young realtors, and I cannot commend you enough for what you're doing. So thank you.
Thank you, Kay. 차렷 경례.